Maria Marino, welcome back to the Sport Profile.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back. It's been a while. A lot's gone down in the last 5, 6 years since we did an episode like this.
Like what?
Well,
I haven't been around.
a lot's gone down.
I know. I just said that our last episode, so for people who don't know,
Yeah.
this is the Sport Profile 2.0. I don't always publicize that, but it's true. The final iteration of the Sport Profile 1.0 was with Maria, and that episode was published on, I checked, August 13th, 2020.
Wow, that was still 2020?
It was, yes. So
Oh my
when I
word.
tell you, when I tell you August 13th, 2020, what goes through your mind just hearing that?
Dark days. Dark days,
Really?
Just a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear. Um But I think around that time, we were starting to get a handle on, okay, how do we move through this pandemic world? And yeah, it was a tough year
Right.
for me personally, but we're on to bigger and better, and that's all behind us. And it's cool that you've resurrected this, and I'm glad that we're reuniting.
I know. It feels very special. It
Good.
does, just because, we've known each other so well over the years, and seeing you grow and progress in your career, seeing how, like, just so much has happened,
Yeah, I told
you
you.
know? I listened back to the episode that we did. You were still at SNY at the time and
Mhm.
thinking about how you were concerned of what your boyfriend, now husband, would think about you going back. You were a little nervous about going back. Not only do you now have a husband, you are now a mother, Maria
I
Marino.
am. I am. I'm a mom to a 1-year-old, so
To
that's
a recent 1-year-old too.
I know, just had a birthday, so yeah, big day for us here, and wow, I you're jogging my memory, totally forgot about that, but yeah, I remember definitely there being nerves back in 2020 going back into the studio,
Yeah,
what the situation would be like, and those were challenging times for sure,
sure.
just from a production standpoint and commuting and getting used to that, but yeah, as you've said, we've come a long way,
Oh
and,
my God, yeah.
yeah, now Steve, my husband, and I, were more in the burbs, so a
Yeah.
little bit of a different lifestyle in a good way. We
Of
like it.
course.
We like it. Yeah.
I tell this to everybody. I have
Yes.
no concept of time. Zero. None. What felt faster to you? The past year
Mhm.
of, birth to now with your 1-year-old daughter, or the, let's go almost 6 years from COVID to now? What do you think felt faster?
Oh, definitely the past year. Like, I really can't believe a year has gone by.
Really?
Yeah, and, I think when you're a new parent, a new mom, you're so caught up in the day to day because you're just trying to at the beginning, you're just trying to survive each day, and then you're trying to get more and more comfortable, and you're so, wrapped up in just making sure, your child is okay and
Yeah.
everything's okay at home, and the days are tiring and your bedtime's earlier. That's me anyway, for sure. You're
Naturally.
up at the crack of dawn and or in the middle of the night, and it's just like it's a grind, but it's a beautiful grind. That's what me and my husband call it, and
Yeah.
that's how we've sort of referred to it because it's really hard, but it is really rewarding, and
Mhm.
um it's really hard to describe, honestly,
Is
all
it?
the feelings that come with the experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you just don't know until you're
Yes,
doing it.
exactly. It's gonna be hard,
Right.
but you cannot possibly fathom what it's really gonna be like until you're in it.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense just hearing it, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I haven't experienced that, yet.
Yes.
God willing, I will. But there's obviously been so much transition with, your life
Mhm.
recently, whether it's with your career, obviously with your family.
Mhm.
What has helped you go through these transitions? Like, what did you like about these transitions? What was
Mm.
challenging?
Yeah.
I feel like a common assumption is that everybody says challenge is hard, and it
Mhm.
is, make no mistake about that. But there are some people who say the challenge of transition is fun. They actually enjoy
Right.
it. There might be some positives to it. So,
Definitely. I mean,
what are some of those positives and challenges for you?
I do think it's a mix of both. There are positives and negatives
Yeah.
to having change, but I actually do think that change is an amazing thing, and it's something I look forward to because I think when you have a change in your life, you are forced to grow, you're forced to improve, you're forced to figure out how to navigate it, and I just think it makes you a better, more well-rounded person, and so, I mean, I went through a few changes in my career before finding out that I was gonna become a mother, and, um,
Yeah.
one of the changes was initially moving from SNY to Action Network, and that was a really, really big decision for me, but I felt that that sort of change was necessary for my growth and for my continued, like, honing of new skill sets.
Sure.
So I wanted to get into different things. I wanted to get into play-by-play. I wanted to get into radio, and Action Network gave me the flexibility where they didn't require exclusivity, so I could do other things
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exclusivity.
in addition to my role at Action Network, which was
Right.
a growth point in itself because I was able to host a daily show, which I had not done where I was like specifically the host. When I was on
Yeah.
SNY, I would host a number of different programs. Um, and then I was also able to host a podcast for the first time. And we launched a WNBA podcast, which we did
I
for two
remember.
seasons. So that was 2023 and 2024, which were, 2 amazing seasons to get into WNBA podcasting.
Yeah, I was about to
Um
say, I don't think there's a better time to do it than. I mean, no better time than the present, but 2023, 2024 was pretty
Yes.
good too.
Yeah, so I, again, just was able to, like, work on all these new skills and just become a better broadcaster, and then at the same time, I met so many amazing people that I worked
Yeah.
with, a lot of super smart people, interesting people that I'm still thankful that I got to
Name
work
drop.
with
Let's get
them.
some shout outs going.
Well, pretty much, like, I'm not gonna name everyone, but pretty
Of
much just
course.
the whole Action Network family, like, all of their experts, analysts, I just have learned a ton from them. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll give some shout outs from my W group chat, so, like, Dan Omataya, Jim Turvey, Joe Delara, Andrew O'Connor Watts, those are the, I would say, like, the core from our WNBA
Yeah.
analysts, but, I mean, so many, like Sean Kerner and Mike Calabrese, and see, now you got me naming people, now I'm gonna leave people out, and, so this is where I'm gonna get in trouble. But,
They know who
Brendan,
they are.
Matt Moore, all of our great producers that we had, but I digress. But
They know who
I
they
do
are.
think when you have change and you have new experiences, that's one of the coolest parts is meeting new people, getting to know different people, learning from them. So that was one aspect of
Sure.
Action Network, and then the journey came to somewhat of an unexpected ending because there were layoffs there, and that's
Yeah.
something that a lot of the media industry, and in particular sports media, many of them or those that work in this industry are
Yeah.
experiencing. That was unexpected, but then I was due with Audrey, like, a few months later, and
Really?
yeah, so it was
It was that recent?
scary. Yeah, she was due, like, a few months after I found out about the
Wow.
layoff, and, I guess in that sense, the timing was kind of a blessing in disguise
Yeah.
because I just embraced sort of the next chapter, and I continued to work, and I still continue to work in a
Right.
freelance capacity, while also always sort of keeping my eyes open for any opportunity. But yeah, it's been been a journey to
Yeah.
say the least. But I think what's like you said, talking about what's positive in change is just embracing the change, embracing the
Right.
challenge, embracing the opportunity just to grow, really.
Yeah. You've really leaned into broadcasting, which I know is always been a love of yours.
Mhm,
You've, even when you were at Ramapo, you did broadcasting.
mhm.
You wrote about high school sports. You broadcasted high
Yes.
school sports. It was always a part of you. Now you've
Mm,
done it with, Monmouth. You've done it with
mhm.
St. John's. I mean, you were at MSG. Damn it! Like
Yes.
that must have been. I mean, and we'll get to that in a
Yeah,
second. But
yeah.
like, what does it feel like to kind of not so much like step away from studio hosting and
Mhm.
into play by play, but does it feel like pure to you
Oh, yeah.
now that you get to really do what, it's not studio hosting, it's not podcast
Right.
hosting, it's something you've done really a majority of your life now.
Yes, so I always describe in-game commentary, whether it's play-by-play or color, as like the purest form of sports storytelling because you're in the
Yeah.
moment, you're at the live event, you're in the arena in my case because I do mostly basketball and some volleyball.
Yeah.
And one thing that I realized when I was a sideline reporter covering UConn and SNY was
Mhm.
how much I love the atmosphere. I love the energy in the building. I love that game day vibe. And I
Yeah.
realized it was actually something I always loved since I was a kid. Like when I
Sure.
would walk into a high school gym or even at the elementary school gym, both for myself or for watching my older siblings play sports, like that feeling of walking into the gym is something I crave and it's something I really enjoy. And I do remember during the COVID year when I was on sideline and I had to do a lot of my stuff remote and in the studio instead of in the arena, or in person, it was really, really hard for me. It was really hard for me
Really.
to channel the energy and to, um,
That's
just
hard. I mean, that's hard to manufacture in your home.
exactly, exactly,
You
but
can't manufacture that.
yeah,
I mean, you
so
can, but it's
I
hard.
really missed it, and then as I said, I really wanted to get into the booth.
Yeah.
I enjoyed sideline, but I really enjoy play-by-play. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like when I started doing play-by-play, like, the first game I ever did, which I think was in late 2022 or early 23 was the first, like, real shot that I got, calling a college game.
Yeah.
I think it was at Fordham. Fordham was one of the first schools I worked with,
Hmm.
and the first day that I did it felt more natural to me than any time I had ever
Really?
been sideline, yeah, and, not that I was great. The second game I did, I felt like I was, like, 10 times better, um, but,
You always feel better the second time.
yeah, but I also just I feel like I'm meant to do it. I feel like
Yeah.
I understand the game as well as anyone. I study the game. I watch so much basketball, it's absurd. And I also feel like I'm able to pick out the storylines that matter. And I still have room to improve, obviously,
We all do.
but I think that I'm able to weave in the facts and the stats that are relevant, and I'm always trying to convey the same personality that I have at home when I'm sitting on the couch watching the game,
Yeah.
like with friends and family. That same like fun energy is what I'm trying to bring. I want you to feel when you're watching a game that I'm calling that you're just a friend of mine watching the game with me, and it's relatable and it's natural and it's real, and I'm not trying to be perfect as a broadcaster. In fact, I think it's a negative to be perfect because
Mm,
it's not what people are used to.
I'd agree with that.
They want like a friend basically to relate to, and so I'm not trying to sound, obviously I want to have all the information,
Of course.
but I just want to sound real. I just want to sound like me, and I'm still working on it, because
Yeah.
I do have a perfectionist um
Join the damn club.
persona. Yeah, so I'm actually continuing to work on just stop trying to be perfect and stop trying to fit in every single fact and story, and just let it flow naturally.
Yeah.
But I definitely think I've um gotten better, and I mean, I called the most games this season than I've called. This is my 4th season. Got to do a lot of color too,
Yeah.
which I actually think I'm very good at. But,
You are.
I didn't technically play college ball, so, we'll see what the ceiling is for that, but that's a big reason why I've navigated to the play-by-play because I know what I can bring.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about just because I know a lot of people might be listening to this and wondering maybe like how the networking process goes for you.
Mhm,
I think there's different philosophies for it.
mhm,
So when you were reaching out to Fordham, you
yeah,
said you called that first game.
mhm,
What was your process like? Were you just reaching
yeah.
out to them and saying like, "Hey, I'm available if you need someone"? Like, what was your process and philosophy like? Because I know there's so many different methods to it.
So I have to shout out Russell Fink at SNY actually
Mm,
for helping guide me in a direction that allowed me to connect with some of these folks at different area schools because
yeah.
um, SNY is a network that airs a lot of local games.
Yes.
And so I sort of had the idea, and I asked permission from my boss at the time, Brad Como, if I could reach out to these schools. And even though I had exclusivity on my contract at the time, some of these games were on SNY. And so
Oh,
he
okay.
kind of gave me the okay. And I said to Russell, like, do you know of anyone at these schools that might be interested in having me as a broadcaster? And he was awesome. He sent a few introductory emails, and most of them got back to me in some way, shape, or form. And, Fordham was one, Monmouth was one.
Mhm.
Um, I did connect with Princeton a little bit later down the road. They're one that I work with. Um, so there was a few, and it was just a nice little connection. And
Yeah.
it was up to me, of course, to follow up with them
Mhm.
to share my work so they could see what I could do, and then, of course, to perform once I did get the opportunity, and,
Totally.
I think I did that, and that's why, a lot of these schools have asked me back, and then eventually, um that was my 1st season. The 2nd season, I felt I had enough experience where I could, reach out to the Big East Conference, and they gave me a shot, and then, the past few years, I've just done more games for the Big East, which has been amazing.
You're reaching out to the people within the conference?
Correct. Mhm.
Gotcha. A
Yes.
lot of people I think have told me, and I know this from just talking to folks, they're thinking like, "Oh, your people are reaching out to, like, the individual schools," and it's like, you can actually reach out to the conference too.
I do think that you need to start somewhere, and,
100%.
you need to before you go reaching out to anyone, you need to have a good amount of experience,
That too.
and you need to have a good, sample of your work, like for me, a demo reel. And I think even though I was green when it came to play by play at the time, I had credibility from working at SNY and being on TV in the New York market for a few years. So it wasn't like I was completely new and out of nowhere. I
Right.
had a good amount of experience and they were willing to give me a chance based on that. So you want to be strategic when it comes to networking with
Yeah.
when you're reaching out. Not just who you're reaching out to, but when. The timing is really everything, and you don't want to reach out prematurely. You want to make sure you're actually qualified, but of course, it doesn't hurt to cultivate relationships with people,
Always.
and, my philosophy on that, and we may have talked about a few years ago, was always you want it to be mutually beneficial.
Yes.
So you're not just reaching out asking for a favor, you're reaching out offering something that you can provide, which is, "Hey, if you need anything, like, if you need help with this or that, these are my skills. This is how I can be of service to you as well."
No, I love that. I really
Mhm,
think that it's smart, and I think people underestimate the when,
mhm,
honestly, because I've had some folks say like, "Yeah, should I reach out to this broadcaster
mhm,
in March?"
mhm.
No, they're calling college basketball.
Yes, 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 yes.
You're asking to not hear back.
Yes,
But
I think it's always important to be mindful when you know
yeah,
someone is busy, and really try to, be cognizant of their time, and when you do get in front of them or you do get a moment of their time, make it worthwhile. Be
of
prepared
course.
with the questions or the things that you wanna say, and so that you're not wasting anyone's time.
Speaking of March, your
Yeah.
general thoughts on the women's tournament this year. I mean,
Um
that was it was a hell of a Final Four. It
I
was a
mean,
hell
it
of a
was.
tournament.
I'm very happy for UCLA.
Yeah,
They got their experience last year, sort of
true.
being ranked number 1 much of the year for the first time in a while, um, making it to a Final Four for the first time in a while.
Yep.
And they
Winning the
got
first title.
yeah, but what I'm saying is they started the year prior, where they made it to the Final
Yes.
Four, and they fell in pretty, big fashion to UConn, and they learned and grew from that experience, and they had all of these seniors and grad students this year that were experienced and knew exactly what it would take going in,
Yeah.
and they were able to execute, so, um, very happy for them.
Ah, me too. I really liked I liked how the tournament played out. I thought there was a good parity, good competition, great games, good upsets, and I did pretty well in my bracket selfishly.
Oh, good for you, good for
Selfishly, I
you.
did pretty well.
Well,
I got 90% correct.
that's amazing.
I won the family.
Good
I
for
won the
you.
family pool, so
Congrats. It's
I'm
not
proud of
easy to
myself
do.
for that. Selfishly, of
Yes,
course,
yes.
but
Well, as you know, March has been historically a pretty busy month for me,
always
and
is.
I was really, really happy that this month I was able to do a bunch of shows for ESPN, and
Yeah.
it's really, really cool for their digital platforms, so
Mhm.
ESPN app, YouTube, Facebook, and, did a couple of shows the last couple weeks of the regular season and then into the postseason, conference tournaments, and did our bracketology show. So I was just thrilled. I'm always thrilled whenever I get asked to do anything for ESPN, and
Yeah. I mean, what's
it's
that feeling like for you?
well, that first happened in 2024.
Yeah.
I was doing radio work for ESPN New York and then ESPN National
Mhm.
Radio, and then in 2024, I was asked to do the digital work for the WNBA finals. So, I
Mhm.
mean, for me, that's a dream. I
Of
love
course.
women's basketball, the WNBA. I got to talk about the Liberty winning their first title.
Mhm.
So it was amazing. And then um, fast forward to early 2025, I had my baby girl. And, um, in April her birthday is April 3rd, Final Four
Mhm.
weekend, so I'll always
Yeah.
sort of relate her to that, but, I was asked to do my first show back at ESPN Digital for the WNBA in July. So she was 3 months old.
Wow.
Yes, if I'm doing my math correctly. She was almost 4 months old. It was late July.
Yeah.
And, it was a last minute ask, and honestly, it was a little nerve-wracking at first because I
I mean,
all of a
like, you just
sudden
had a
have a
kid.
lot more to plan for, and
Yeah.
of course, my husband right away was like, "Say yes, we'll figure it out," and I think he took off that day and watched the baby, and, um, it's just like a completely different type of world
Yeah.
going back to work, as a mom and, logistically planning it. Also, like, well, for me anyway, I felt like I had to rebuild my confidence a little bit. I had to
Really?
Yeah, I felt like I was in one headspace, and I had to flip a switch back over to work mode. Prep is a really big part of my process,
Of
and
course.
it's, challenging when you have an infant that you're also caring. So, had to really use my time wisely. Again, had to lean on my husband here and there and be like, "Okay, I really need to do this or that," and, um, it might be 20 minutes I get, but what can I get done in that 20 minutes to help me feel like I'm ready to go. Luckily, I had been watching all the games still at that time, so that was
Yeah.
good. Um, but yeah, I also feel like the people that I worked with, like Ari Chambers, for instance, or Taylor Tannenbaum, like they were all just really, really they built me up a little bit. Like I felt like they
Really?
made me feel comfortable and like you got this, and because I
I mean, the nerves are
honestly
real.
yeah, I honestly, I'm not usually a nervous person, but I do
Okay.
think postpartum, I felt a little bit of a weird, like, nervous thing at times, and, so yeah, I just had to get back into it and kinda get back to me and who
Was
I
that a weird
am.
feeling for you, though? Yeah, I'm curious if there were times of, like, what is this feeling? Like, what
Yes,
is this?"
it was just something I had to kinda work through, and,
Really?
yeah, I'm not ashamed of it at
Oh,
all.
no,
I
you
think
shouldn't be.
I I gave birth to a human. I had
I mean,
to learn how
yeah,
to I had to learn how to take care of a human, and, um, honestly, it was the hardest thing I've ever done
of
and
course.
probably will continue to be the hardest thing, and so to then sort of reintroduce to the working world, I'm super proud of myself, honestly. I'm
Yeah, you
super
should
proud of
be.
how, I've grown and how I've sort of learned to juggle this aspect, and I just feel, honestly, at even though I'm tired a lot, I feel sharper
Yeah.
at times because I know when I need to dial in, and I know
Mhm.
I need to take advantage of every moment I get to be able to prep and to be able to work on my craft.
Yeah. Last 2 questions. What would you tell the Maria from August 13th, 2020? What would the Maria right now say to that woman almost 6 years ago?
Just, honestly, I mean, there's nothing I would change. So I would just probably say keep at it, keep at your path, keep to your convictions, keep pushing, keep working hard. That's really it. I would just say you're doing a good job, like stick with it. Um but I never really wavered in I have goals and I've had
Sure.
goals and I'm not afraid to go after them. Not afraid to fail because I don't think it's possible for me to fail, honestly, because I know how hard I work. I know what I
Right.
bring. I know the preparation, the attention to detail, and the care. I think that's a big thing. I think when you
Oh,
care
100%.
about what you're doing, and for me, especially with women's basketball content, not that I only do women's basketball, as you know, I do a lot of other sports, but
Totally.
it just so happens that I've become um, I've been asked to do a lot more women's basketball, and I
Yeah.
I I take that very seriously because
Sure.
I know what it was like when I covered the WNBA first
Yeah.
in 2018 up until now. So I guess what I'm saying is I care, and when you bring that level of care, you're not gonna go wrong.
I mean, that's amazing, and it makes me very curious what your answer is to this question,
Okay.
even though I do ask it with the parameter of, like, just you as a person, your
Mhm.
job and broadcasting career aside, but Maria Marino, what's something you like most or admire about yourself?
Yes, I've heard you ask this of other guests, and it's a hard question to answer, but I think I would just say I'm thoughtful, and,
Yeah.
I try to let people know that I'm thinking about them. If they cross my mind or something reminds me of somebody, I try to shoot them a note or shoot them an email or whatever, and just say, "Hey," because I think it goes a long way.
I agree.
I think people, they don't realize it until it happens, but, I think it makes them feel special when you tell them, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. I wanna know how you are."
Yeah.
Um, and I think, especially going from just your regular life to, like, the workplace,
Mhm.
you wanna be considerate, and I think
Sure.
that's something it always irks me, like, if someone's not considerate, like,
Oh
if
my god,
someone's not
same.
considerate of other people around them, like, their space, their time. So, I try to think beyond just me, I try to think about other people and
Yeah.
just let them know that, I'm aware, I'm cognizant of that they might be going through something or they might
Sure.
have a challenge that they have to deal with. I have a challenge in my life maybe, but what's their point of view, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm thoughtful. That's what I like about myself.
I love it. I love that. I love that, and I love that you love that. I love that
Yeah,
about you as well.
thank you.
Maria, may we all continue to be thoughtful
Yeah,
and have the just ability to see people in situations for who they are. May we all continue to have that.
yeah,
Maria Marino, thank you
yeah.
so much for coming back on.
Of course, of course. Thank you for having me.